Many people with dementia are cared for successfully at home for the rest of their lives. However, others need additional support. The family caregiver may be old and frail. The family may not have resources for home modifications required, or the round-the-clock care that may become necessary. Behavioral expressions may become too difficult for the family to respond to. Oregon has many options for residential care settings outside of the person's or their family member's home. And as you know, many, if not most families, do not know about these options. Bill, in Module 6, remembered his mother-in-law's bad experience in a nursing home. As far as he knew, a nursing home was the only option for caring for his wife besides caring for her at home. He had no knowledge about the many changes that have occurred in the way long-term care services are provided in nursing homes and in other settings. The ADRC website has a wealth of information about these settings. Family members may find the MOVE Consumer Guide to Person-Centered Long-Term Care helpful. MOVE stands for Making Oregon Vital for Elders and is a coalition of providers, advocates, educators, and other community members dedicated to culture change and long-term care. Another useful document is a National Consumer Voice for Quality Long-Term Care Services. ADRC staff and partners are critically important to helping people with dementia and their families explore various long-term services and supports options. It is important that these conversations begin early. Options counselors and other staff can inform people and family members about the many different options, stress person-centered care approaches, finding the best matches available to the person, review ADRC resources in the person's community, help families plan for the transition, and let families know how to stay involved following the transition. Regardless of the planning decision about moving into residential care, these decisions are very difficult. Recall that Bill was adamant that he would continue to provide care for Sarah himself. In spite of Sarah's early direction to put me in a home, Bill couldn't face it. Here's Ashley describing what happened when circumstances changed and their plan for care at home was no longer working. This was about 3 years after her first meeting with Sarah and her family.
Joyce and her brother were really worried about their father. He was seeming really tired, and they also said that he was having heart problems. Along with all that, he was worried about Sarah. I think she told me one time he woke up from his sleep and found that Sarah was gone, and then he found her a few blocks away from the house. He's just really tired. So talking with Bill's daughter, we have found that she's been having some behaviors that are difficult for the family. They're gonna need some extra care, but it's still possible for her to stay in home. And also the daughter and the son, they've talked to Bill about getting respite care for Sarah as well, which I think would be very helpful, and they should start thinking about that.
Ashley met again with Bill and his children. Sarah was present, but was dozing throughout the conversation. Ashley referred back to the what's working and what's not working tool and asked him what was working and not working for him. He admitted that Sarah's wandering was very worrying, as was her increasingly aggressive behavior. The options counselor suggested that Sarah be evaluated for pain or for some other physical cause of the behavior. The options counselor also referred back to her notes and reminded Bill of some of the things that had been important to Sarah. One of those was that she not be a burden. Sarah's daughter reminded him that she and her brother had visited foster homes and assisted living facilities and had identified a couple that they wanted to show him. At first, Bill was not convinced The care practices had changed enough since his mother-in-law's experience so that Sarah would have a good life anywhere except at home. He also felt like a failure for not coping well. After a few more months of increased formal support at home, however, Bill decided it was no longer working and went to visit some of the places that his children had found. Ultimately, Sarah moved into a foster home nearby. Here's how Bill described it.
Sarah is no longer really in a condition to talk about things, but I know that from my sense of how things have been in recent months, she feels very safe and secure in this place. And the people who care for her, who touch her and talk to her, are very gentle. I'm pleased that they allowed me to continue to be involved in caring for Sarah. It's brought out a level of patience in me that I didn't think I was capable of, at least mostly. I don't know why we waited so long to come here. She's calmer, so I can be calmer, and vice versa. She never wanted to be a burden, and she was always saying that. She remembered what it had been like to take care of her mother during those long 2 years, and she was so exhausted. She's glad I don't have to do all those things for her anymore, and also that I can be there with her some of the time. I'm glad that we could plan for this, and I don't think she's going to be left in a bad financial situation. It's good all around.
Helping Martha transition was more challenging. She lived at home with some success for many months, although it continued to cause worry for her neighbors and the options counselor. She had a home care worker who could take her to the store and help her with her bath. She adjusted to giving up her car, received Meals on Wheels, and had a senior companion once a week. One day she fell and broke her hip. After it was repaired, she went to a skilled nursing facility, but was not able to regain her mobility. However, because she had a person-centered plan, the options counselor could work to arrange a guardian who was able to move her to an adult care home. The staff at the adult care home used her history and continued to support her. They knew that she enjoyed all activities that involved children, and she was frequently at the jigsaw table. Being in a foster home with children was good for Martha. She became more animated and more engaged in her surroundings. We will talk more about guardianships in the final module of this series.